Alright guys, so a while back I did like a 2-in-1 review for 2 books, so I decided to do that again, and the reason I did that the first time was because I didn't have enough to say to do a whole video for both or either comic, so I was like, you know what, I will roll the 2 comics into one to make it into one thing. Yeah, so we're going to be doing a double feature review and talk about Van Helsing versus Dracula's Daughter from Zenescope, and Rocketeer Adventures from IDW. Both comics, as you can probably imagine, both come from my good friend Chris, aka the Mount Vernon Kid. Thank you so much once again, Chris, for these comics. So let's dive into it with Van Helsing versus Dracula's Daughter. This is from, like I said, Zenescope, and this is from the Van Helsing series, which focuses on Leslie Van Helsing, the daughter of Abraham Van Helsing, who goes out and hunts monsters. Now, this is a good comic because this is, like, it's a neat comic of Van Helsing battling Dracula's daughter, but there's like this under theme of, like, there's more to it than that. Like, there's a bigger scheme going on that Van Helsing is slowly putting together. And she's kind of thrown into this story of this villain who more or less knows more about her than she lets on. The problem is that this comic, Chris, I know you love sending me Zenescope, but this is literally like I'm lost through most of the stuff because they reference stuff that I have not read. I've only read one Van Helsing comic which was The Sword of Heaven, I believe it was called. And yeah, this one references the battle she had with Robin Hood. This references 3 other things in here that I clearly missed. So I was completely lost for a lot of this comic. I would not to say I don't hate this book, but it's more like I'm lost. In Zenescope, while they do a lot of miniseries, the problem is that I was kind of lost on a lot of the stuff because yeah, this feels like I'm reading Volume 5 of a storyline that I am lost on. I do like, however, we do find that Van Helsing's assistant is a Jekyll. She is a Jekyll, and we do get a Mr. Hyde. And there is a big reveal that I kind of put together real fast regarding Dracula's daughter, whose name is Charlotte, in here, and how it connects to Van Helsing, the Van Helsing bloodline. I kind of figured that out real quick when they do the backstory between the Van Helsings and Dracula himself. So I was like, oh, so we're doing that. Okay. That was predictable. Because they really make it on the nose in the comic. Like, I was like, oh, we're not even going to pretend, are we? Alright. Yeah. All in all, it's not bad. I just wish I had, I wish I could read more Van Helsing comics, because this one feels like I'm out of place, because I didn't meet all these other characters in Sword of Heaven. Like, Mina, they do have a Mina and Jonathan in here, and like I said, Jekyll just shows up, and it leads to like a Legion of Monsters storyline. Anyway, all in all, if you like Zenescope, I would suggest checking this out. Moving on now to our next comic, and that is the Rocketeer Adventures. Now, the Rocketeer Adventures is from IDW, and I completely forget that the Rocketeer started out as a comic. It didn't start out as because you'd think it would be like a radio show or something, or started out originally in the movies. Nope, it was originally a comic book. So the Rocketeer Adventures is an anthology series from some of the best creators in comics. For reference, let me just read through all of them. You have all the creative teams, because each issue has a different creative team. Like, you have John Cassidy in the first issue writing and drawing. You have Mike Allred and his wife Laura Allred doing a story. You have Kurt Busiek. You have Mark Waid. You have I'm just going through all the motions because it's literally like Darwin Cook. Darwin Cook does one, and it's the most revealing one with his girlfriend. Yeah. I mean, if anything, he knows how to draw a woman in underwear. You can always hang your hat on with that with Darwin. That's not a knock. You have all these different great writers, and again, fucking Alex Ross does the covers for these books. So they're really well done. I think it's really hard to do a review on a anthology series because the problem is that you have to base it on each story, and all the stories like go up and down. That's kind of the problem with doing anthology books. There's some great stories, like again with Dave Gibbons does one. We have others involving all these different great writers and artists writing characters and writing stories involving like the Rocketeer battling like Nazis in faux Rocketeer costumes and robot squids and whatnot. It's a lot of fun. That's the thing, is that it's just a lot of fun, and it really does invoke that kind of 30s, 40s era of adventure with this character and what it was meant to be about. So I really enjoyed this. If you can find it, because it has been out for a while. Obviously, Darwin Cook is no longer with us, but this book's about $25, and Van Helsing is about $20. So both books I do highly recommend. I really do recommend both books. Like I said, there just wasn't enough for me to do a like whole ass review for either. Like it was just, there wasn't enough for me to do two videos for to do two separate reviews. So I was like, I'll just do a 2-in-1 like I did not too long ago. So once again, I'd like to thank Chris, aka the Mount Vernon Kid. Thank you once again for both books. And other than that, hope you all enjoyed this review. And I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.